Hello, I'm Tammy Williams, and this is Things of Interest. Welcome. My guest today is Judge Deborah Thomas and Roderick Casey, and we're here to talk about criminal records, expungements, and federal pardons. So, Deborah, thank you for coming. It's always good to see you.
Oh, Tammy, thank you for having me.
Yes,
thank
and Roderick.
you.
But
Thank
tell
you,
us,
Tammy.
about this forum that you're going to have at Brown Chapel on May the 29th of this year at 6 o'clock.
We are putting on a forum, a public forum, it's free,
Okay.
where we're going to educate people on how to apply
Okay.
to get their state criminal record expunged or set aside.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yes.
Yes.
And we are going to pass out the packets that will have the forms that they need.
Okay.
We're going to give them step-by-step instructions. And then we're also going to provide information for those who may have a federal conviction
Okay.
and they're looking for a federal pardon.
Okay.
And this is the time to do that. And so we're going to have attorneys who are going to be present. We're going to tell people the step-by-step process. We've learned that there are a lot of people who may have a felony conviction or a misdemeanor.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a felony. There's some people might have a misdemeanor that they want to have taken off of their record. And we're going to set out how to do that.
Right. You're going to educate people as to how to get an expungement at an affordable cost, a better cost than going through the court system. How does that work?
Well, what we're going to do, there are forms that have to be completed.
Okay.
There is information that they will need to get from the court.
Okay.
And so sometimes you may have to pay a $10 fee to get the records from the court. You'll have to get your fingerprints. We're going to tell them where and how many copies, and you might have to pay $10 or $15 for that.
Is that all? I mean, that sounds almost too good to
That's
be true.
all it costs. All it costs. And then you have to pay a filing fee. When you get all your paperwork together and you want to file it with the court,
Okay.
you may pay $50 or $60 for that. But in terms of doing the legwork and how to go before the court, we give them all of the instructions. It's possible to complete the entire process and spend $150 total.
Wow. Are you all listed at Roderick? Is that for real? For real?
Yes, this is for real. This is some of the things we
Wow.
do as a public action committee.
Okay.
And Deborah mentioned it to him. We asked us a couple of years ago to come out here to Washington County to help us to get a forum going, and she was gracious enough to come.
Well, as
this
a
week.
judge, I know your time is valuable, and I sure do appreciate you coming.
It's, it's important.
Yeah.
It's important. We find that there are people who have made a mistake. Sometimes that mistake was 20, 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
They've been on the deacon's board. They've done community service. They may be applying to get an apartment in a senior building. Excuse me. But because of the felony on the record, they can't get in.
Okay.
And they may discover that they can have that felony set aside
Yes. I know
and gain access.
that language, expungement, is a new language. It's been around for a long time, but now people are becoming aware that it's available to them. Expungement.
Yes.
It sounds it sounds
a
like
good
a nice
thing.
word.
It's a good
nice
thing.
word. This, so what has been happening? That you've had a lot of successes recently. With
I've
this?
been giving these forums for several years now. And last year, I think I did about 10 or 12 in Wayne County. And sometimes what we find out is that people will bring whatever paperwork they do have. The attorneys will look over the paperwork, and we discover the person never had a felony in the first
in
place.
the first place.
They may have had a misdemeanor.
I see.
And they've been making applications and they come across that question, have you ever been convicted of a felony? And they're checking the yes box when they never should have.
Yes.
But they're not aware. They
Yeah.
don't know.
And they're trying to be law-abiding people that don't want to get caught lying or
Right.
mispresenting themselves.
Right.
So they say, yeah, I've had some problems. Yeah. And that's hurt them when they didn't, in
But
fact, have to.
Didn't know. And then there are a lot of programs that are available through the court where if a person successfully completes their sentence,
Okay.
sometimes their record is sealed at the end of their probationary period.
Okay.
Sometimes we have in Wayne County we have a diversion program where it's never put into the system in the first place.
Wow.
And people are oftentimes not aware that they're under these programs.
Okay.
So they have no idea that they don't even have anything in their criminal record.
Wow.
So we tell them where to go to pull their criminal record, to get a certified copy, so that they know exactly where they stand.
Wow.
I had one lady that came to a forum we had, and she was crying because she said, every time I go to court, they tell me I can't apply for an expungement. They tell me they won't take my papers. So we said, well, okay, baby, let us look at your papers. And the attorney looked at the papers. She had nothing to expunge.
That's why they tell her.
That's why they can't tell her to no.
Ah,
That's why they can't, yes.
That's evil.
And she had no idea, but she's still applying for work. She's applying for financial aid for school.
Checking that she's got a felony.
Checking that she's got a felony, and she was placed on a special program for young people. Her record was sealed years ago. She didn't even have a record to report.
Wow.
So we discovered those types of things. The forum is going to be May 29th. That's Thursday, May 29th. It's going to be at Brown Chapel AME Church, and that's located at 1043 West Michigan Avenue in Ypsilanti. It's open to the public. There's no charge for it. We're going to start at 6 o'clock in the evening.
On time, promptly, huh?
Be there on time. Be there on time, because you may come in halfway through. If you're running late, come on anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to try to work with everybody that shows up. And we've got other information that we're going to be able to give people. We're trying to help as many people as we can.
Yes.
And so if you don't have a record, but you may know someone who does,
Okay.
you can come and get the information for them.
Absolutely.
Because when you walk out the door, we're going to give you step-by-step instructions. We're going to give you the actual forms that you have to fill out.
Okay.
We're going to tell you what is it that the judge is going to ask when you get to court. We're going to give you all of that basic information. So even if you don't have a record, but you know someone who does, who can't make it, then we're going to have all of that information available, and you can take it out the door with you.
Wow.
And I don't think that'll be no problem with Michigan having a quarter of its population now has felonies.
It's an extensive number of individuals.
It's very easy to get, and people are getting, especially minorities, are getting it very young. And so they're starting their life out with a felony because they are growing up. I mean, we have cases where, people do things that, are bad, but no, ordinarily, they're just growing up and they get in trouble. Like even in their high school, there's police that are arresting young people and giving them juvenile cases that are on their records for the rest of their lives. I think it used to be. Well, it was if you get 2, it's with you.
The law has changed.
Okay.
It has recently changed.
Okay.
And that's one reason why we want folks to come in.
Good,
it's
good.
no longer you can only have one conviction.
Okay.
All right. So you can have more than one conviction.
I'm so glad you're here to tell me that.
So the law has changed in that
Okay.
regard. A lot of people do not realize that in the state of Michigan, at the age of 17,
Okay.
you are automatically charged as an adult.
Okay.
You have to be 18 to vote.
Okay.
You have to be 21 to buy liquor. But at age 17 in Michigan, you're automatically charged as an adult. And you can be charged as an adult even younger. You get 16, 14, 15.
Does that depend on the crime?
It depends on the prosecutor.
Oh, okay.
And the prosecutor will decide on a number of factors,
Okay.
one of which is often the severity of the offense. So, and that depends on the prosecutor. Your mama can't bail you out of it.
Oh, I know about that. I know about that.
Right. So you need to bring, if you have any paperwork,
Okay.
you should bring it with you.
Okay.
But if you don't have the paperwork, we're going to tell you where to go to get a certified copy of your record so you know exactly what's on there.
Okay. Now, when they come to the forum, it's going to be between 6 and 8. So you're going to be moving pretty quickly. For all the people that are going to have needs that possibly come
We're
in with
going to
needs.
do it as a classroom setting.
Okay.
All right, because the law is the same for everybody.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to present it as a classroom setting. And at the close of the classroom setting, we're going to have question and answers. So if someone does have a unique circumstance, then we provide answers to those questions.
So having their paperwork will help them to determine whether they have a case that it's extenuating circumstances.
And also, we'll have a number of attorneys in the room.
Okay.
So then, even after we do the open question and answer session,
Okay.
they can present those papers to the attorneys.
Great.
The attorneys can look at the papers. They may be able to give them some advice
Wow.
to help them go get more information if necessary. So that's why we have the whole 2 hours.
Wow.
Now, out of curiosity, what is the maximum amount of felonies or cases can they get before they are not able to get their expungement?
And I don't always like to tell people that because they think they have a felony and they don't have one.
Right.
All right, so they say, oh, I'm out. I can't do it.
Okay.
All right, when you need to come in, now I tell you right now, if you got 5 felonies and you know you got 5 felonies, there's not going to be much we can do for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, so you know that. But if your felony is a life offense, if it's something like armed robbery, carjacking, your homicides, we can't do anything for that.
Okay.
If you have a sex offense other than criminal sexual conduct 4th degree, and somebody don't know, some people don't know what degree they have. All right, 4th degree, you can still apply for an expungement. But what we do know is that a lot of times people will have a criminal sexual conduct and they may be on the registry. And some of those folks no longer have to be on the registry.
Wow.
So
Some of the circumstances, we call those Jack and Jill romance cases.
Okay.
Okay.
And so some people, even if they can't get the conviction expunged, they may be eligible to come off of the registry because it was what we call that Jack and Jill romance.
Could you explain that?
Teenagers, consensual,
Okay.
all right? So so you still need to come.
Yeah.
You still need to come.
So I mean, if you stole something in Myers when you was 18, or you.
Auto theft cases, those types of things. And with the young people, it's really important because there are more programs for people who were convicted at a younger age where they may not have a conviction.
I know of someone who got into a domestic issue like 5 years ago and went to law school but can't get their law license because of that one incident in their life.
And sometimes, some of the special programs, there is a special statute that will address domestic violence cases where you may have had your conviction sealed.
Yes. Okay.
And people aren't aware of that. You may have had a drug possession case. A lot of folks with marijuana, all right? They haven't been charged with distributing, even though that may be expungible.
Okay.
All right, and you can be charged with distributing, delivery, as we call it, just by passing the pipe or passing the joint or
being in
passing
the
the
car.
blunt.
Yeah, with the people, especially women that were in the car with their boyfriends that had something, they did.
Aiding and abetting.
Okay.
Aiding and abetting.
See?
And that's why everybody who has had contact with the criminal system, criminal court system, they need to come.
Yes.
Because circumstances different, the law has changed, are different. And this may be your golden opportunity to find out you could have your record set aside or you don't have one at all.
Wow.
And you just didn't bother to take the time to come out and find out.
Yes, well, please, you all out there watching, make sure that you get these dates and this time and the Brown Chapel AMU Church on West Michigan Avenue. Please come down and take advantage of this program.
Because this information the attorneys are giving for free.
Okay. Yes, and that's special. Getting an attorney to look over your case is very important. It's very special. That's a blessing.
And we have some attorneys who have indicated that they would like to participate, who will be from the Legal Defender's Office.
Okay.
And so there are people there who are trying to help. I know in Ypsilanti and in Ann Arbor, recently they added to the city ordinances, banned the box where they don't ask the question on the job application.
Yes, I've heard of that.
And people need to calm down because even though you don't have to check the box on the application, if you've had contact, eventually you're going to have to discuss that.
Okay.
Now, it wouldn't be
Yes.
sad if you were one of the 3 finalists and you're telling somebody you've been convicted of a felony and you haven't.
You haven't.
You haven't?
Right.
All right? Because you don't know the nature of the offense. Or maybe you were convicted of a felony 10 years ago and you could get it expunged. All right?
Yes.
And it's not even, now that information is always available to law enforcement.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, it's always available to the courts. Because if you come back again, we need to know those things.
Right.
All right, but if you're making application for housing, if you're making application for financial aid, for school, you're making application for a job,
That is
right.
so important.
it's important. It's
Yes.
important.
Wow. It's like Christmas, like a gift. It's a true gift to get that stuff taken off your
is true.
record so that you can live and enjoy just the basic essentials of life, like, you know, a place to live, or mortgage, or car, or something like that. It's great to give people a fresh start.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
We believe in expungements are all about second chances.
Yes, yes.
People stumble along the way.
Heaps
People
of
make
things.
mistakes, but to give a person a second chance. We also explain to folks that in Michigan, it's not true throughout the country, but in Michigan, if you have been convicted of a felony and you're not incarcerated, you can vote.
That's right.
You can vote, and
Yeah.
that's important. There is a bill that is being introduced in Lansing right now
Yes.
that would make the opportunity to expunge your criminal record available to even more people.
Wow.
But if you don't vote your interests, all right, maybe the bill won't pass.
Yes, and people there's a fear with ignorance when you don't know. You get fearful, so you just don't even pursue it.
And
Because
so-
you think,
yes.
I'm going to get arrested if they, I might get arrested if I go to vote, or if they look at my license or something.
You are eligible to vote.
Yes.
And you need to be a part of the process, because if you want the law changed, then you need to be voting for people who understand your interest, your concern.
Yeah. Now, what about getting like a concealed weapon or something? I mean, getting your records expunged. We have the stand your ground issue where, they know a lot of minorities can't carry a concealed weapon because they have felonies.
And that's important too.
Yeah.
That's important. We are going to do a second forum.
Okay.
And that forum is going to be on June the 12th.
Okay.
We're going back to the same church.
But you're going to come back here and talk about it,
I
aren't
am
you?
coming back.
Okay,
I'm coming back. And I want to thank both the pastor and the church family at Brown Chapel.
Pastor had her.
Yeah, I want to say thank you, because you're allowing us to hold these informational forums at your facility, and we are grateful.
Yes.
And we appreciate that the church is allowing an opportunity for redemption,
Yes. Yes.
forgiveness for the citizens of the Ypsilanti Wayne County area.
Wow.
And so I definitely want to say thank you for giving this service to the community. We are going to talk about how the gun laws can be impacted, and whether or not you can apply to have a gun even if
Okay.
you have a felony conviction.
That's at the forum on.
If asked. Now the one we're doing in June, that one is called You, Guns, and the Law.
Okay.
All right? And that one is going to be all about what is open carry,
Okay.
what is self-defense, what is stand your ground, and we're looking for both sides of or full scope, I should say, because we're not arguing any sides. We're just going to tell you the law.
No, you're going to educate people.
The
Just
law
share
is what the
information.
law is.
Yes.
All right? When this is not a debate. But we're also looking to have our law enforcement a representative to talk about gun safety.
Okay.
Gun safety issues.
Problem with that?
And that is critically important. We
Yes,
have
it is.
so many, too many, one is too many, incidents where children are getting hold of firearms and storage of firearms. How do you properly transport your firearm?
Yes.
All right? Maybe if you're only just taking it to the shop to get it clean.
Yes.
There's still a right way and a
Yes.
wrong way
It is.
to transport your firearm. So we're going to provide that information too. That's going to be later on this summer.
Okay. So
Later on this summer.
I'm sorry. I just opened something up. You weren't ready to share yet.
Nope, that's
But
okay.
I knew getting that your records expunged would help you to be able
Yes.
to carry a concealed weapon. But everything kind of works out and it kind of goes along with everything else because you all are thinking and you're thinking ahead. And that's great. And this kind of knowledge that you don't have to go to school for, or somebody that knows it doesn't have to tell you. You're going to offer it and give it freely to
We're
people.
going to give it free.
It's like a breath of fresh air because people grow older. I mean, the young get caught up and you can help them, but there are some people that have made some mistakes. Now, like you mentioned, they've had children. They've changed their life. They're not that person anymore, you know, and they want the world or the government not to hold it against them.
And it's a new opportunity to be able to provide for your family.
Yes.
All right? And so that's what we're trying to do as well. We're trying to help people to get a fresh start, to be able to go to school, get a skill, to be able to to get a job. But we also provide information for those who cannot or do not qualify for the expungement about entrepreneurship.
Okay,
Wow.
great.
About entrepreneurship.
Great.
Starting your own business.
I'm getting getting excited. It sounds
We're
great.
trying to help as many people as we can.
I feel the Holy Ghost. I mean, it feels good up in here.
We're trying to help as many people as we can.
Great.
And so it's come get the information. Come get the
I'm
information.
excited because I mean, I'm at the age now. You make mistakes. Thank God we didn't have things like they are now, where you don't get second chances, where everything's so mean, and you can't grow up or you can't move on because the court system's making money, and the cops are out there, and we have the profiling, and people. You feel like minorities, young people feel like eyes are watching them. They can't do anything. They can't,
And we're not. When you come, we want people to be respectful.
Yes.
We're not taking names.
Okay.
We're not. We're not going through all that. We don't want you to be afraid to be there.
Okay.
We want you to feel comfortable.
Great.
The whole point is to try to embrace the community and try to uplift.
Yes.
Try to uplift.
And come as to the forum. I'm assuming people can pretty much come as they are, although they're coming into a church.
You're coming to a church.
Yes, but you were talking about like coming to court dressed a certain way, and
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the proper attire.
Okay.
When you come to the judge, and it's important for people to know when you are asking for an expungement, that's discretionary. So you want to put your best foot forward. You want to present properly, and we're going to talk about that at the forum. We're going to talk about that. We're going to cover the whole gamut.
I'm excited. It almost sounds too good to be true
It's
because
true.
Normally you'd have to be able to afford an attorney and go through a lot of the red tape to get an expungement. I mean, even the word expungement. I mean, to get an expungement, it sounds like the rich for the rich and famous people, but not the common people.
Oh no, this is for everybody.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the federal pardons.
Okay.
And people need to understand that it's the president of the United States who decides to whom he or she will give the pardon.
Okay.
And some presidents are more inclined to pardon certain offenses than others. It takes a while for them to look at your application, to investigate the application. So you might want the president that you think is going to, give you.
Okay.
All right, you wait too long, there may be a whole nother president. That president may not be inclined.
And this put me in the mind of when Carter. Now I'm giving away my age now. But this is when Carter had pardoned all the Vietnam veterans for marijuana back in the 70s. Do y'all remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, but President Carter had.
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm saying it's so important.
It's important.
Yeah, so while President Obama's in there, you learn this information if you need to.
And get started now.
Yes.
Get started now because it takes a while. And the more people who apply, the more applications they have to go through.
Right.
But also, we know that President Obama can't run again. He's termed out.
Yes.
So he may be inclined to pardon more people before he leaves.
Yes.
So you want to get your application in now. So we're going to talk about that federal pardon as well.
Okay.
So yeah, both sides.
Well, don't be scared out there. Come on to Brown Chapel, and it's going to be Thursday. I'm going to flash it up again. So if you need to go out and get a pencil and paper, so that you can write down the date. It's May the 29th of this year at 6 p.m. until 8. at Brown Chapel AME Church, and that's in Ypsilanti, 1043 West Michigan Ave, and that's right after with Madison, Monroe, right past those streets in Ypsilanti. So you can't miss it. You know, come on out so that you can talk to Judge Deborah Thomas and the other judges that are going to be there, and attorneys that's going to be there. Okay.
Attorney Robin McCoy.
Okay.
Who has a practice in this area. She's going to be doing part of the presentation as well. So we do want people to come, meet the attorneys, talk with them. They're giving this service for free. You don't have to be an Ypsilanti resident.
Okay.
You know, if you live in Ann Arbor, you can come on down. Monroe, come on down.
Yeah.
You know, because the law's the same across the state.
Okay.
Law's the same across the state.
Okay.
So even if you're living here and maybe you have a family member who needs this information and they want to drive over, they may be coming in from Detroit. We've done them in Detroit, but maybe they didn't make the ones in Detroit. So you don't have to be an Ypsilanti resident in order to come and participate.
I'm glad you brought that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The law is the same.
And even if you don't need it, you can come in on behalf of someone else.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you know.
And we see that quite a bit. Maybe you would come and get the form and learn a little bit, and you might just put them on the table at your church.
Okay.
Right.
You know, and at least people can pick up the packet and get the information. And I'm sure Roger's going to get me back over here again.
Oh,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure. And so, yeah, but this is the first one that we're doing.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that people will come out and get the information. It's a life changer.
Oh, I do too.
It's a life changer.
Of course, this is Tammy Williams with Things of Interest. And these are our show times. Tuesday at 8:30 p.m., Thursday at 3:30 p.m. on Comcast Cable Channel 17. If you'd like to get in touch with us, this is our P.O. Box number, our telephone number, and our email address. So we will be glad to, remind you, or if you would like to get in contact with anyone, you can give us a call. But you don't really need to for this program. Just come on the 29th. And be a part of it. Be a part of it and get your blessing. Get what's for you. You know, get what's coming to you. Don't be scared and, don't be afraid. Hold your head up and, proudly and go get what God has provided for you. You know that there is a God. I mean, because he would be the only entity that would want you to do better and to come out of the darkness of being or having a felon or not being able to do some of the things that you need to do, like get an apartment or get a mortgage or get your driver's license or do all those.
Don't let your blessing pass you by.
Yes.
So too many times the blessing is there and we don't even see our own blessing.
Yeah.
All right, and all you have to do is just pick it up, embrace it.
Yes.
So don't let your blessing pass you by.
Amen.
And Tammy, I'd just like to mention, this is what Public Action Committee for Justice is.
Okay.
We build like a coalition with other organizations in this area, like IPCJ.
Okay.
We are the one that presented the Ban Your Box up at the Ann Arbor City Council. They passed it and said it was the right thing to do.
Great.
And this is what we're trying to do. This is part of our job. We're not just trying to educate,
Yes.
but we also are giving solutions. And Judge Thomas, she gracefully always volunteer her time to give us those solutions because she works right there in the court and she see what's going on. And see, we can't express enough that the private prisons is the fastest growing industry on the stock market.
Well, this program is sponsored by the Public Action Committee for Justice, and I want to thank Judge Thomas for coming.
Oh, thank you.
She's a real G. She comes through for us a lot, and we really appreciate her. This is Tammy Williams, and keep on watching us and staying informed. We'll be back before you real soon.
Tammy,
yes.
Can I mention also that ReRock is also part of that coalition that helped to ban the box?
ReRock, huh?
ReRock,
All
Washoe
right.
County Regional Organization Coalition.
Okay.
So, yes, we are all pulling together because we know that we don't want to allow the private prisons to sway our legislators to make humans out of fuel for their stock market.
All right. Well, great. We'll be before you again real soon. God bless you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank
Tammy.
you.